All right, we should be live right now, Blue. We should be live right now.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome, family. Brother Rich is back. Haven't uploaded in a couple of about 5 days. I've been slow with the uploads since I had my son, Blue. I've been slow with the uploads. I haven't been uploading as much. I'm gonna get back to my uploads. I had to, I gotta welcome somebody to this world, so it's taking up a lot of time. You know what I'm saying?
But my travels, through these United States of America, people have been asking me what's going on with the uploads. I'm like, listen, this man is a newly christened father, and from what I understand, that entails a level of time, dedication, and focus that, you just can't
anticipate. Can't prepare for.
It's very hard to prepare for.
It's just
once again, there is no manual.
Yeah.
There's no YouTube tutorial on how to be a parent. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, many of us, if that experience wasn't handed down and embedded to us through our predecessors, you feel me? We only know what we hear on TV, seeing the movies, ear hustle in the street. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
It's like it's really in the wind. You know what I mean? And I just seen Rich the Kid, so that's a precious undertaking.
I brought him to the studio to bless the studio.
It requires a level of intense focus, and I'm just sure that there's things that you just be wanting to witness. You'd be like, yo, I'm just into this. This is my new project. You know what I'm saying? It's mesmerizing. So yeah, I can only imagine.
Indeed. With that being said, I'm gonna let people come to the chat room. We got about 150 people in the chat right now. Play some ads from these brothers who got some amazing products that y'all need to check out. So check this out, and we'll be back shortly, family. Let me do this right. Hold up. All right. All right, family. We are now back. I want to give a quick shout out. Somebody in the chat room. I seen Eliza Bercasio said he just had his first son 2 weeks ago, and he seen Black Dot video that he did on fatherhood. I posted that video to my page a couple of months ago. So it's great knowing that Black Dot could post something and affect somebody bringing life into this world. And I'm sure he thought about the video. That's amazing right there.
Salute to Dot. I called Dot the other day, and I told him, you the elder clansman amongst, us, amongst our generation. Like,
yes.
It's not about an age thing. It's about a level of responsibility, decorum, and the fact that he has, for what I know, actualized the whole aspect of passing the baton to his son in real time. And that's a winning model, Urban X TV. You feel me? So I look forward to those episodes. I tap into it, every time that I see it in my notification, and I always learn something. Black Dot is always upstanding journalist and somebody, who as a Virgo, very analytical, and I enjoy his perspectives, him and his son, the way that they work with one another. You dig what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to Black Dot.
Yeah, that's super dope. When I first seen they show in their channel, I'm like, damn, man, this is like father-son duo team. Black at that, conscious at that. Like, that shit was beautiful, man. So, Yeah, keep going. Make sure y'all check out Urban X. I believe it's Urban X TV. Shout out to Black Dot and his son. What is his son name? Malcolm? Is that Malcolm? Yeah, shout out to Black Dot and Malcolm. With that being said, man, we got a title here that I know people get impatient. The ADD kicks in. If we don't start talking about the title in 5 minutes, the ADD kicks in. They like niggas. So let's listen, Blue, with this whole thing, you know, we done talked. I had to cut down on my shows about Trump. There's so many things we could have talked about in the past 3-4 months with Trump, but I refuse to talk about because it's draining. Just keep continuously bringing his name up.
Facts.
Unless it serves a purpose and I could get inspired from it, then I don't mind. Just like the Dark Magic, that shit was very inspiring.
Right,
with the
rising,
meme.
right.
Yeah, with the meme. Yeah, go back to that show. But this one right here, it's an interesting conversation when you see the video of the Covington standoff with the Catholic students, the MAGA hat wearing white Catholic school students.
We be having grandmothers watch this, so you have to be very detailed. Yes. What exactly are you speaking about? What footage?
Okay, so there was footage that went viral a couple of days ago of a native brother, Indigenous,
yes.
Nathan Phillips, and he had like what do you call that?
It was a drum.
The drum. He had the drum, and I guess he was chanting or something. And the kid, the Catholic school kid, was just standing there, and he looked like, you know, like he was ready to, you know, it looked disrespectful to anybody that was watching it.
He was bracing.
Yeah. So you know, people was just like, Trump ended up inviting him to the White House. So people are like, this shit is like
inviting
the white dude, the kid.
The kid
got invited to the White House. Yeah. Yeah, the kid got invited to the White House. So people are like, hold up. How the hell he doesn't, like I said, the kid got invited to the White House. Fox and Trump and all of them are saying how the media manipulated the story. And, you know, it's more than what you've seen in the video. So Trump said, you know, he invited him to the White House, man. It's mind-boggling at this point. But
hey.
I'm not gonna. You're right. It actually is a surprise. You're right about that. But we're not gonna go in that direction, per se. What I want to talk about is, well, first of all, it raised a lot of interesting conversations that I seen. Because the Hebrew Israelites was a part of the story, the Black Hebrew Israelites. But a lot of people don't know that they was there. In that area at that same time.
From what I was told, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting because I'm seeing people, you know, this whole story of the African American experience, we don't know where the fuck we come from. So I'm hearing people saying, oh, the Black Israelites is there. Yeah, we the real Israelites. And then I hear brothers saying we the real Native Americans. So you got one side that's saying we the Black Hebrew Israel, the real Israelites. Then you got another group of brothers that's saying we the Moors, we the real Native Americans. That dude you see there ain't no damn real Native American. We the African Americans that is the real Native American. Matter of fact, they had the act. What's the act where they change? Oh man, see, I should have got my notes together. But anyway, our history, brother, it's all up in the air. We don't know where the hell we come from.
Cloud.
It's a cloud, my brother. Talk to me about when you see the native brothers, when you see the Black Hebrew Israelites,
Indigenous.
Yeah,
that's considered a derogatory term amongst our brothers.
What's considered derogatory?
Native.
Native. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why that is? Why that they?
Just as a Indian would be considered derogatory to them. You know what I'm saying? They didn't refer to themselves as Indians. They didn't refer to themselves as Native Americans, you know, because this is Turtle Island. It's not, they didn't call it America per se.
Right.
So they're, you know, they decided amongst a vote that they wanted to use the term indigenous to refer to them. I think it was in the 70s.
Okay.
This was all research that I did when I was putting together the Cosvina lecture talking about the doctrine of discovery, you know, what exactly happened on this landmass.
But it's weird, Blue, real quick, because the European is talking about build a wall, and you got the Black Israelites and the indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? The shit is flipped right now in 2019. Like, hold up, ain't this our shit? If anybody, like, Didn't they just come around 6,000 years ago? Like,
I mean, again, this is the juxtaposition of opposites. But if we are missing what the narrative is, then we're always going to be lost arguing mute points. The point that they're making is we took this by force under the doctrine of discovery. So you are a conquered, subjugated people.
Okay.
Right? You niggas tie into history based on your your religious connotative connections to your story, if you so choose to accept it, right? Step into your role if that's who you are, right? Case in point, according to Genesis, this would be the 400-year mark that the people that are afflicted with this curse of captivity, right, are alleviated of that said captivity. So, niggas, if you're going to be indigenous, or should I say, if you're going to be falling under the designation as Hebrews or Israelites or Christians for that matter, right, then play your role as it goes according to that biblical text, because the biblical text affords you the keys to the kingdom come 2019. Because 400 years since 1619, when the first supposed quote-unquote slave came to Virginia, 400 years from that is 2019. So this curse, this supposed curse, this alleged curse, is supposed to be lifted. I'm just saying, narrative's a narrative. Learn how to use the narrative to your favor, whether you prescribe to that or not. If you spent your entire life, and our people are indelibly bonded to the book by the ankle, just like they're bonded to this country by the ankle, to this day. Right? So if that's who you prescribe to be, what benefits come out of that? To the ones that claim to be indigenous, if that's who you prescribe to be, what benefits come out of that? You dig what I'm saying? Are you in these international courts chasing down international law, the first document, which is the doctrine of discovery? Until you could poop that, until you King Cooper that, everything else that you're talking about is mute. So we have this tendency to want to run under wherever the shit tide is falling. You dig what I'm saying? Wherever the shit tide is falling, that's what we want to be underneath, talking about, nah, that's us. Without no redress or remedy to say, look, I'm utilizing this claim because this is where the power play is at. Where's the power play in any of this? Right? That's all I'm saying. Like, where's the power play in it? You want to identify yourself with these groups for what? Because I don't see too many of the people on either side of the board, whether it's Moors, Hebrews, or the indigenous ancestors of this particular land, right? Minus a few, dealing with the traditional ceremonial activities of said groups, right? Dealing with the diets of said groups, dealing with the customs and the creeds of said groups. So we always want to be something in name only. What's that about?
Name only.
It's just like the Africans. Okay? It's like the Africans. Right? They want to identify with this whole aspect of being from the continent. But what is African about you niggas? Huh? And niggas don't come from Africa. They come from the wilderness of North America. They're lab experiments. So who are you is the good question. How do you self-identify? And at the end of the day, what about you is putting forth that particular declaration that you're making to say, look, my ancestors, if they see me in the dark, because that's who's looking at you, that's who's taking notes, right? Not only do they recognize me as such, but they fucking with me, right? If you could throw your They Live glasses on, you'll see 1 trillion of them behind me. Are you doing anything ceremonial to consecrate that relationship? Right? On either side of the water, whether it's indigenous here, whether it's indigenous to the continent, or a little bit of both. Huh? So it seems like a conflict of interest. You're African American. Well, the indigenous Americans don't want you killing any animals, right? Because they peace loving and tree hugging. But your Africans is talking about, nigga, we slitting throats. Okay? Goats and chicken, throats we slitting. So you know, it comes down to blood. It comes down to blood and bloodlines, right? I should have tuned into the lecture last weekend. Blood and bloodlines. God damn it. Who are you and how can you prove it? Are you in the conversation? Are you part of the narrative? Do you know what the narrative entails? Right? Are you timekeeping? Right? On some Flavor Flav shit. You know what time it is? That's all I'm saying. So it's cute. Niggas is wearing feathers. It's cute. Niggas is wearing turbans and fucking Saudi shits. It's cute. But what does it all mean at the end of the day? Is there a power play attached to it? Right? What's the end game? What's the goal? You juggling for land? Is it based on documents? You got to dress up like the Grand Sheik to get your paperwork filed? What is it? I don't know.
When you see the brother Nathan Phillips, and you're saying he's indigenous, and you hear some brothers saying that some people call him a $5 Indian. I'm sure you heard Claude Anderson speak about the what you said was the indigenous people. Are we too much? Let me see. Are we trying to be like friends with people who don't want to be friends with us? When you look at somebody like Nathan Phillips, we thinking he could identify with us, but it's just, you know, something that we, you know, we shouldn't even be a part of that as well.
I mean, again, are we? Who's we? Because
African Americans,
African Americans making
blacks
overtures to
descendants
him?
of slavery, if you want to say that.
Okay. Once again, I think that
is he an ally? Is he an ally? Do you look at him, when you look at him, do you see an ally? And you gaining power in this country?
It definitely depends on what side of the aisle that you fall on based on how you playing for power, right? In this narrative. Because people on this particular side of the aisle that I would say are only strategically and 100% Pan-African, then they have no allies, right? But if your thing is indigenous to the land, if, right, the movement that's going around talking about aboriginal to the land and your Moorish descendancy and ancestry and this, that, and the other, you know, once again, then you should be solidifying some relationship of indigenous tribes around this country. If nothing else, for information, for ceremonial reasons, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, these people still have access to said lands. You know, like I said, I don't know where the Aboriginal movements identify with saying, these are our lands, these are what we're doing to get it, these people are on it, we're going to do this with this land when we get it. It's just a lot of, once again, set tripping. You know what I'm saying? People are set tripping with information. Only me and not you. Nothing about us has ever been monolithic. So when we even talking about indigenous people to the land, there was Plains Indians, right? And that shit led into Mexico. And even though there's indigenous people that are in Mexico to this date, right? There also are more so the Pueblo Indians and things of that nature. You can look at them and they look more like what you would call a quote-unquote Tonto Indian, right? Then when you come over here on the eastern seaboard, then you go all the way from the top, all the way from the bottom, and the bottom is what they misnomered the Seminoles, you know what I'm saying? And the Seminoles were described in these particular books as having dreads, gold teeth, tats on their face, you understand? And dark skin. So that would be the same type of people that you find in Florida to this day. But even them that are there to this day in Florida are not indigenous to Florida. Some of them came from, you know, Haiti and different parts and different places. But they are now resonating with the frequency of that land and taking on that particular look. You go to Louisiana, you see the same thing, right? When they dress up as indigenous ancestors for the Mardi Gras festivities, you understand? They never look like they out of place. That shit looks very indigenous to the land, does it not? Do they look like it's a clown show? Do they look like they putting on for the hits? Do they look like how a European would look on if he put on some feathers? Huh? It looks very original. Because when you go up to the Parkway to Carnival and you see the family with the feathers on, you see the colorful feathers, you go all around to the Caribbean and you see family with feathers, does that not look indigenous and aboriginal to the land? And I'm talking to myself.
Facts.
Huh? So at the end of the day, what are we talking about here? Like I said, you can only really identify yourself when you are in proper persona. Not these niggas in jeans and t-shirts talking about this is me and that's not them. Right? Are you playing the drums? Are you still on the instruments? Do you know the indigenous songs? Huh? Are you keeping the fucking prayers up? Are you smoking the shit? Are you smoking the tobacco and the corn husks, sending your prayers up to the ancestors? Are you doing any of those things to preserve the legacies of the indigenous ancestors? Or you niggas once again set tripping talking about me, not you? Because you got yourself some information. Huh? That's what it sounds like to me.
Blue, since you talked about, hold on, this thing shut off. Let me make sure it come back on before I start talking. Family, y'all all right?
Y'all all right?
Okay, good. All right, yeah, the camera's back on. All right, family. All right, so Blue. So let's talk about some of our lost spiritual practices, rituals, things that we do, things that we don't do now that indigenous people do. You just seen Uncle Hanky the other day. Hank Rise's son. I just did a show with the brother.
Shout out to Hank Rise's son.
Yeah, and he taps into the DMT. He taps into things that the question I asked him was the title of our show was we know our ancestors engaged in certain rituals and did certain things, but because of our quote unquote moral or Christian mindset, we're scared to go in that direction. We hear about it, we're like, yeah, they did that, yeah. The Egyptians, this and that, but we won't do what they did. We scared to, and when the psilocybins, the mushrooms,
Christianize, fractionize,
all of that,
homogenize, pasteurize, right?
I want you to, because there's a part of me that still has a Christian mindset, a programming that's so deep. When I see certain things, the name Jesus comes in my mind. The Native American God don't come in my mind. Somehow, no matter how much stuff I read on ancient Kemet, if you go through something, sometimes, like say you hurt yourself or something.
Your default is
Jesus. And you have to think like, oh shit, no, not right? Jesus. I meant Osiris.
You smacking something,
like no, oh shit, I meant Osiris.
I saw. You like, God damn,
Jesus. like Jesus Christ.
I'm in this thing.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to catch yourself. That's how deep the programming is. Like, oh shit, did I just say I meant Osiris, I meant LO, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said,
put some intent on it. Ain't no intent there.
So we
like Jesus.
We gotta be honest with our programming.
What's today's date?
Today's the 22nd, right? 23rd.
Of what year?
2019.
You Christian, my nigga. By default, it's a tricky game. We are affirming it every time that we mention the date.
Wow.
You understand?
The fact that I said it was...
It's a cosmic lock-in.
Woo.
You not only said it, you believe it with all of your heart.
With all my heart. Wow.
It is how you are capturing your time.
You just tricked me, man.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, brother. That's that 44 logic he using. He using that 40.
Because you said let's keep it real.
Yeah.
You said let's remove all of the illusion from it. And this is not attack anybody. I'm saying we run off of the Jesus Christ of narrative. That is what it is. Shout out to Buddha Clinks. Like, that's what it is. And it's very hard to get away from that. I did a consultation earlier with a young lady, you know what I'm saying? And her parents asked me a key question, and they said, when if a child has been raised off of Christianity or religion, what is the system of spirituality that you rear children up from, from age 0 to 7? because we know what the Jesuits say about Christianity. Give me your child for the first 7 years, and I'm going to give you the adult, because they're going to program the subconscious, right? So what rivals that? You dig what I'm saying? I did a podcast before I left Atlanta with religion versus spirituality, and at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, you remove people who are, once again, I said, bounded by Christianity, by destiny at the ankle, right? Because they're told that their slavery story is one in which they can look into the book when they first started reading it, and they found this passage in Genesis that said, yo, my people was in bondage for 400 years. So those are the things that he even actually gave Nana the strength and the fortitude to make it through that particular muddy maze, to make sure that your black ass is here today, arguing about what your identity is, right? So on the back of Nana, you crawled through time to get here, right? But there's many other ancestors that came prior to that. So we at this place where we have to make these decisions because everybody keep talking about ancestors. All right, so I want to pay homage to my ancestors. Do I pay homage to my ancestors that was just 2 or 3 generations ago? Or do I pay homage to my ancestors from 200, 300 generations ago? Or is there a way that I could qualify all of them and not cancel each one of them out? Because Nana over here saying that's that spooky shit. You feel me? Don't do that. Even though she had all type of powers that she only attributes to Jesus and the church, but I think she was born with that because her daughter was as well, right? And the little girl right there, she born with it because she got vision. You dig what I'm saying? But now she wants to get into spirituality. She won't hear nothing about the church. So is she denouncing Nana and desecrating the church and Jesus and everything that was put into motion for her to get here, right? Or is she breaking a generational curse by going all the way back into her bloodline and honoring the most ancient aspect of herself, right? Because she just came from the absolute, so she really know what it is. I don't think she's clouded from where she came from. You dig what I'm saying? So it's a conundrum that we're dealing with as a people at this particular time, right? How do we practice anything without a stroke of Christianity in it in this particular place, in this wilderness of North America? Please tell me, huh? Send me to a fucking book if you got all these primary sources. I would love to read it. Audio book preferably, though. Okay? So I could get it embedded in my subconscious when I sleep at night. So I could wake up, you know what I'm saying, doing this Mobutu shit. You know? I'm telling you, man. I go to priests.
It's kicking in.
I go to priests and all of that, right? Part of traditional systems, man. They more niggas than what that. Look, and like I said, that is a creation that was made on the motherfucking, my bad. These were creations that were made on the breeding farms of North America, right? And a nigga is wholly Christian. It's wholly Christian, right? Like you got broken English, a nigga's a broken Christian. You feel me? And then they have derivations of it where there's broken Muslims to the niggas, right? And as of recently, broken Hebrews did the niggas. You understand? But how do you do anything in a society with a background filter, the background noise is Christianity? How do you do anything outside of the confines of that? Because I know Muslims that do Islam as Islamic Christians, right? I know atheists that do the atheism as atheist Christians, right? I don't see nobody running around here with their indigenous calendar on their back talking about, nah, this is Baktun Aktun date 0334 with the 17th rock tune. Like, I ain't met him yet.
Yo, get some more of that. You on fire. Get some of that conscious sleep, man. Give Blue some more of that conscious sleep, man. Uncle Hanky got blue pill lit tonight. The blue bottle for blue pill. Blue bottle for blue pill. Blue pill's lit. He's so we might as well talk about what I was alluding to, these entheogens. Is that what you call them, entheogens?
Yes.
We're too moral to engage in that, Blue. Well, we think we're too moral. We're scared.
We're scared.
What's up with the entheogens, Blue? All the breakthroughs that can happen, all the people tapping into it. It's a big trend with Silicon Valley right now.
European
huge trend. The DMT, they taking this shit like there ain't no tomorrow right now.
The very people who I was told have no access to spirit realm, right,
bro,
or kicking down the door in
to get in the spirit realm
and bringing back transcripts, scrolls, and all types of other shit. Right, my bad. But Negroes that I noticed taking entheogens, they coming back with ethereal herpes and stuff like that. Like,
God damn, Blue, what we doing wrong then, Blue? What? Because nigga said ethereal.
We are approaching the most sacred, right? Because you're going into cosmic womb, right? You're approaching the most sacred in fear. So we're amplifying fearful experiences on the other side, right? And then we're entering the womb of cosmic womb. You know what I'm saying? With all sorts of other things attached to us. Filthy. It's just like I say about consciousness. Right? This is niggas who just change clothes and then take showers. Right? They just change clothes. They ain't take a shower. Right? So you come into this thing, right? And you jump into it and you don't do the proper ceremonial practices or nothing. And once again, man is not equal in this regard. Meaning that stop telling me, oh, because the white boy don't do it, I don't have to do it either. You dig what I'm saying? But you want to differentiate yourself from him on every other criteria, on every other situation, but you can't see when it comes to this, when you coming back to your ancestors on some Black Panther-ish, right? Or some Killmonger-ish for that matter. Somebody who's never really been on the other side, don't know it exists, and really don't believe in that. Right? You have to be convinced. White boy's there for the adventure. He's like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? Give me 9 grams. Let's do it. Right? And he going with an agenda.
Yeah.
And he got people looking out for him. Right? They not FB Live in it. Like, yo, I'm going to.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to upload your transformation online and make fun of you and shit because, you know, you're going through the stages. So our inability to provide love and safe spaces for one another, right? And I'm juxtaposing this conversation about a people who categorically are non-loving, right? But somehow, like I said, have managed to kick down the cosmic door and come back with the scrolls. In my research for this last lecture, I had to research the whole aspect, the whole thing dealing with Timothy Leary in the 60s and the psychedelics. Okay? That was a cultural revolution for them people. You understand what I'm saying? A cultural revolution. We missed that aspect of it, and their introduction to free sex and drugs, right, was a way for them to vent. It was a way for them to release. It was a way for them to be wild and non-restraint by experiencing years of suppression, especially quote-unquote white women, right? And then they came out of that and they wanted feminism. They wanted more rights. You dig what I'm saying? And the men came and then they started, you know, they was on a Philip K. Dick shit. They wanted to create new worlds. They saw new colors, right? They wanted to go new places and do new things. But when it got to us in the 70s, right, synthetic drugs the same way, lab created the same way, right? But we didn't experience the sexual revolution by way of that. We started pimping, you know what I'm saying? And in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, the girlies are free because the crack costs money, so you seen crackheads, right? You dig what I'm saying? But was it ever a cultural revolution where we was allowing people to be themselves? Have we ever done anything for our children where we've allowed them to scream and cry and release, right? Harkening back to this whole conversation about R. Kelly. Not once did I see anybody get on, I won't even say these networks, I'll just say networks, period, and be like, yo, we have we're going to meet over here so we could do this healing work. We're going to pull these drums out. We're going to pull this out, right? We're going to get these psilocybins, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to get these endogens and, you know what I mean? Not once did I hear them conversations take place. But I went on record and I said, thank you, Brother Rich, because you helped us facilitate 5 retreats, right? After the Africa Mbada story popped off and these people needed healing because they was coming out of the woodwork talking about they had been abused too. Is there anybody in the community that they could send them to? And I couldn't think of nobody. So we got people sacred plant healing, right? And then that's what we're talking about when it comes back to the indigenous aspects of who and what we are. We didn't have hospitals, right?
That's what Nathan I think he said that about the prisons. He said we didn't
have prisons. We didn't have psych wards. Okay? We didn't have pharmaceutical industries. Everything that we needed was based on our connection and our immediate access to nature. Everything that we needed was based on our immediate connection to one another, to the village, right? Everything that we needed was based on our intimate connection to an elder that had the information from mouth to ear, right? Not no primary source of no books that you read, right?
It's just kind of, weird though, Blue. And I don't mean to cut you off because, our connection with nature, a large part of it is lost due to technology. Now, this technology and I had a deep conversation with KT about 5G and everything and how that's taking us away from nature and everything like that. But the very thing that we're teaching the people with right now, changing lives all over the world, is simultaneously killing us. This Wi-Fi connection that I'm using, the towers that's out there that's killing us is also helping us. The cell phones that we have. So we're saying technology has taken us away from nature, but motherfuckers is really benefiting from technology at the same time. Curse. Oh, thank you. Blue, I always tell Blue don't curse, then I end up cursing. Happens all the time, man.
Everything, and I learned this more than anything, these past few months. Everything is about balance. You know what I'm saying? And when you're doing one thing and undoing another thing, you dig what I'm saying? You should be utilizing just a little bit more time over here with the doing part to figure out how to correct the undoing part before you trip that particular delicate balance and you can't come back from it no more. So, yes, 5G is going to decimate, natural habitats, right? But niggas going to get holograms. You know what I'm saying? And the for VR porno and the sensations that really drive the primal nature of humanity, because we're talking monkey brain shit here. Right. Man is not, unfortunately, in his higher mind. If you look at it, maybe on a pyramid level, at the base, it's monkey mind. At the very highest, pyramidal point of it, there's very few people on this planet that are pushing that higher mind. You know what I mean? And they're making the breakthroughs and they're getting to things and they're building, the eco villages of the future, where the little pieces and bits of nature are still going to be contained and protected, right? But this presidency and this administration and other global forces, that when you put you put that dollar before any and everything else, that's a consequence of capitalism. Right? You have to deplete natural resources, right? So we have to make decisions to say, is it the bag or isn't it? Because if the onus is the bag, if that's the criteria, right? If that's the hallmark of success, then everything is bulldozed in the pathway to that. You dig what I'm saying? Everything is bulldozed on the pathway to that. Because we got to clear this forest to raise this cattle. Why? Because Americans are eating more beef than ever. Even though they're telling you that this is the year of veganism, more Americans are more obese than ever. They eat more meat than ever.
Obesity, yeah.
You understand? So that's what's taking place. So it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
Your shirt kind of matches the topic tonight too. I just thought I might tell you that this.
It's that Ralph. It's that Ralph though. And Ralph, you know, the reason that we was attracted to Ralph as children is because Ralph always gave you a perfect blend of Americana. Okay. He stuck with Western traditionalism, but he also brought in, you know what I'm saying, the whole aspect of the indigenous ancestry of this land, which was the backdrop of Western traditionalism. You dig what I'm saying? There was nothing African about it, right? But we embraced it. It was something that spoke to us, right? We had them Aztecs and them Indian heads on. We was wearing that proudly, right? Colorfully, like, right? A lot of people, they like the Dusui collection more than anything. I used to love the Aztec and the indigenous and you know, the fire truck and all of them. Like, those colors, those indigenous colors, they really spoke to me. You dig what I'm saying? So, I mean, let's have this conversation, though. My whole thing is this. How smart is it for, and I can't say anyone because everyone is not privy to this conversation. Some people came here from other places and they're ear hustling on this conversation. They're sitting around the table, but they're not necessarily privy to this conversation. I'm talking about people who are born, quote unquote, what we would call so-called black people who were born in this country, whose parents was born in this country, right? How smart would it to be of any of us to think that we're 100% derivative of quote-unquote Africans, right? It's funny how in these conversations, ain't none of you talking about that European semen that got mixed in your blood. You claiming that shit too? How about it? What percent of Irish is you? What percent of German is you? Why that movement ain't pop off yet? What percent of French is you? You be hearing Beyonce and them, you know what I'm saying, running around with their African ancestry DNA result talking about, I'm 37% French. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you know, you know, I got rights to the French Republic of whatever. Or, you know, I need a block back in the verse. Like, the shit sounds crazy. The shit sounds crazy. You know what I mean? Why are you not bringing up that statistic? Is it right for us to believe that, you know, all of our forebears totally escaped these indigenous raping farms, right? So you would rather be a derivative or descendant of that more proudly to say, yo, my folks escaped and they mesh with some indigenous elders over here and they hold them up, you know what I'm saying? And we had, you know what I mean, kinfolk that came out of there, Choctaw, Cherokee or what have you, X, Y, and Z, Yamasar, and all the, right? And that's who I am, and I'm going to wear that proudly, right? You and your feelings about that. But your last name is Jefferson. Your last name is White. Right? Your last name is Crackerson. Hey, maybe it's just me.
Blue, why don't you, since this is something new to a lot of the family, this kind of talk, and to hear a black person, you know, I know Mike Tyson was on Joe Rogan. Is that Joe Rogan? Yeah. Joe Rogan the other day, and he was talking about his experience with entheogens. I know you took the same thing Mike Tyson was talking about. He was talking about this toad thing that's from Arizona. And Uncle Hanky gave you some of this. It's like a pipe that you smoke out of. So since you know we're Christianized, myself included, and this is when I say that, I don't mean that disrespectful. What I'm saying is that I say that to say that a lot of this stuff is foreign to us. Not only foreign, but scary to us when we hear about, you know, taking entheogens or something like that.
It reminds us of voodoo.
Yeah. What was your experience? Tell us about your experience, because this was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that experience, Blue. Cause you was supposed to do the show yesterday, but you was in the cosmos, my brother.
I was
Yo.
skywalking, and I didn't come down. You know what I'm saying? And when I did, I just wanted to be alone. I wanted some time alone, you know, to receive the downloads. But I went to see Hank to inquire, you know, about Syrian root, and you know, the brother met us at the door. It was 3 of us, and he said, "We going into ceremony." I said, "Hank, it's 10 degrees outside." He said, "Look, nephew, we going into ceremony." I said, "Okay." I had to get my mind right, you know. And you know, these things happen impromptu. We had just bought mad food, but we didn't eat for some reason. So none of us had eaten for the day. We was on an empty stomach. You dig what I'm saying? So we went to a peak on a hill, right? It was the mountaintop, right? Proverbially speaking, right? And we were in a direct line of the sun. And the brother administered the proper ceremonial rites for said ceremony. You dig what I'm saying? He opened the way and did what he had to do, and he administered the bufu. Bufu, right? Bufu, you know. And I ain't ever hit a pipe before, but I would imagine that this is what crackheads chase in a synthetic sense. In a synthetic sense. Now let's be clear, right? You niggas stop being Puritans, okay? You all heard about it before of what a crackhead experiences. This is not no crackhead shit. It might be a weird analogy, but I'm saying there was a level of euphoria. In particular, I just felt like I was 8,000 feet tall. You know what I mean? And I was looking directly into the sun, you know, eye level. And it might have been 10 degrees, but I came out of my stuff like, yo, get this up off of me. I'm good. And, you know, I'm a sun gazer already. So I locked my gaze on the sun. The sun turned into the black disc that it is, the black dot. And I was able to look directly through the sun and communicate with Cosmic Mother. And, you know, I got them downloads that have been duly prepared since this blood moon hit. You know, and I was on my Pastor Pablo. You know, I was administering the information that was being downloaded to me in real time to the people in my vicinity that needed to hear what was being said. You know what I mean? As well as, you know, speaking to self, looking in my own mirror. And, yeah, you know, the information on the planet at this particular time is about preparation and preparing oneself, you know, for this shift that's taking place. You know what I mean? For this transference of power that's taking place. You know what I mean? And it's tied to any and everything that's going on in society right now. It's tied to the R. Kelly. It's tied to the Chris Brown. It's tied to, you know, melanated men's responsibility when administering, a level of not necessarily remorse to what's happening to the women in our society, but one, you know, how do you fit in the conversation? And two, is there anything that you are declaring in your heart to say, not on my watch, not my mother, not my sister, not shorty? You know what I'm saying? If I'm walking down the street and I see you getting abused or what have you, you know what I mean? I'm not going to allow that to happen. I understand who you are in this society in terms of the odds that are against you. Are you willing, right? Because you're about to be allocated an amount of power. Are you willing to defend the women and the children, right? Those who need the defense the most at this particular time. Or like the girl Jasmine Barnes, is she gonna have? Is the feminine principle in Jasmine Barnes, and then you had the young girl Jasmine. What was her last name? Or was Jasmine Barnes? Jasmine Barnes was the young girl in Houston that got killed. Yasmin was the girl in McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? And the Arabic meaning of Yasmin and Jasmine is flower, right? My grandfather always told me, he was like, look, women are like flowers, right? That was the analogy that he made. He's like, you're supposed to treat them as such, right? I've broken many petals in my lifetime. I'll admit. You dig what I'm saying? But there's a level of contrition there. I know that I have done wrong. I've worked on making amends for my wrongs and things of that nature. And it's enough for me to know that I need to do things different. It's enough for me to know that I'm not going to allow the damage of a flower in my presence. You dig what I'm saying? So how's the spirit moving through you? What is it saying to you? Where your heart at? You know? So I was just getting cosmic downloads, bro. And it was speaking very loud, you know what I mean? And it was a beautiful experience. It was a beautiful experience. It's synonymous with power. It was just pure power, you know? And I think that every melanated man with his heart in the right place deserves to feel like he's 8,000 feet tall, especially in this society, especially for what we're up against, especially what we're tasked with, you know, especially where we're going. You feel me? And if there's things that can prepare us or give us glimpse into what our heights look like, you know what I'm saying? What we're, you know, what are you juggling to attain? Like, what you in this thing for? Did the camera click just now? You know, we get real boggled down in the fantasy of Marvel. You know what I'm saying? We love entertaining scripts, but we're not as fast to want to write our own. You dig what I'm saying? So it's going to take some superheroes. It's going to take some superheroes. Even if you niggas want to be the supervillain, so what? Be super at that shit. You dig what I'm saying? The time for mediocrity and all of that, you know, that time is over. Because she needs you. The planet needs you. The galaxy needs you. Big Mama needs you. Right? Everybody needs you to be who you always said that you are. Right? This constant conversation about who you are, your identity politics. You dig what I'm saying? Nigga, be that.
They say we have an identity crisis, Blue.
We got an identity crisis, right? Make something up, but be that. Be that, right? Let it be stellar. You have an opportunity to do such. We seen what the lowest of you look like. We get it. Soulja Boy, tell him, right? Ancestors see the Soulja Boy situation. We came in for Soulja Boy. He came out with a song talking about Soulja Boy. Watch me, whoo, that hoe, right? Superman, that hoe. This was a day or two after R. Kelly. He was 17 when he made it. You think he was talking about Superman and 20-year-old hoes? No, he's talking about Superman and underage hoes, right? We was amused by it because we love some nigga entertainment. That boy got a substance abuse. You can't tell that. But we love niggas with substance abuses. So yeah, we was boo food out. How about it? Huh? These niggas out here doing everything else under the motherfucking sun. We was boo food out. And for the people, like I said, if you understand what power is really about, I recommend it for you as well. You know, but proceed with caution. Cause it's not gonna be the same experience for everybody. You know what I mean? All three of us had different experiences. You know what I mean? In the same sitting. So it's not going to be the same for everybody. I can't promise you that your experience is going to be the same as mine. You feel me? But, yeah.
What did it make you realize or open up your eyes about reality when we use our senses and we see what's in front of us and we see us being separate from everything, or did it change that?
My brother, Jehudi, his experience was him seeing a flower of life, right?
Right.
My experience on a few mushroom trips ago, I had seen that. So that already shattered my entire overstanding about anything being separate. But this is the you know, this is the ideology, or this is the information that I teach with the Law 44, that I'm constantly showing and proving to show you, look, everything's connected, right? When I look at the world, I see a tesseract. I see cubes within cubes. And that's how the tree, that's how the flower look. You know what I'm saying? Everything is geometric. Everything is geometric. Everything is connected by points and nodes. Everything. There's no separation, right? So that's how the fluctuation of energy moves through all things, right? That's how I know that I'm looking in the lens and talking to myself. That's why I do it so effortlessly. There's no separation. I'm talking to myself. You feel me? I'm talking to myself. I'm not intimidated by myself. I love myself. Reflection. We projections, we not reflections. So I ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, I'm not intimidated by myself. I'm not intimidated by this experience. You know what I'm saying? I love this journey. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the indifferent. I'm all for it. You feel me? So yeah.
What do you think's next for us in terms of you know, we've had teachers such as Bobby. We just had the God Frequency Conference. I got a documentary.
Shout out to
coming
Bobby.
up.
They attacking Bobby, yo.
Shout out to brother Bobby. They attacking Dr. Phil Valentine as well. The flat earthers are after him. It's just, you know, that's what it is in this internet world. There's no getting around that. In terms of us, the metaphysical community that you helped create by introducing Dr. Valentine to all of us, what's the next stage? What's the next stage, man? Do you feel as though, are we stagnant right now? Is the entheogens, is that the next? Because all the elders that talk about Kemet, about 80% of them, they don't engage in that. They don't fuck with that. They'll talk about Kemet, but they not fucking with that.
Right. They don't acknowledge the acacia.
Nah, they ain't fucking with that.
Right. They
Pardon
skipped over all of that.
They just happen to skip all over that.
Right.
Like David Icke happens to skip over black people.
Even in
like,
the coke. They skipped over coke. They skipped over Blue Lotus. They skipped over the shrooms.
They
right.
said the pharaohs is buried with
Even
cocaine.
though, yeah, the Europeans could take you to the internet, right? You could go to YouTube University and they'll show you the psilocybin in every major religion, in every part of the book, in every story. Okay? But somehow, our scholars, right, with their hawk eye, right, have failed to be able to peer into this level of information. Once again, I think that they're very scared to go through.
Was it the Christian in them?
Was the Christian in them?
The inner Christian
has, you know, it's had like locked down them from going through that particular portal. You know, I'm forever accredited to Dr. Sabi, you know what I'm saying, for administering what they call the cosmotherapy. That's what they had called mushrooms. He gave Kamani one, KT one when he was 5, I believe.
5?
5.
Damn.
They put him on a spaceship early.
Shit.
Right?
Wonder why he think like that.
Yeah, they put him on a spaceship early. Blast him up out of here. Get him up. Get him up. Get him out of here. Right? So I didn't have mine until I was like 9 or 10. Right? Shout out to my eye. So yes, the evolution or the next step or the next stage of metaphysics is definitely gonna be with the people that are not afraid of travel. You know what I'm saying? And conspicuously enough, while Saturn is in Sagittarius, dealing with restriction of travel, you know, those that are going to be able to break through and get to other parts of this multiverse. Because once again, in the lecture, you missed the lecture, I introduced and showed you the science that said we are able to exist in 11 dimensions at once in our brain. They have the science to show this. 11 dimensions at once, right? And then there's 4 parts. So that's 44. That's a whole nother story. So if you can get to that many dimensions, right? And there's an aspect of you in all of these dimensions running plays. What happens when you start unifying and overlapping these particular dimensions? What happens when you go into these places and start bringing back information, right? But more importantly, what happens when you start living out this information? What's that going to look like? And I feel that there's going to be some things that happen very soon that's going to leave people with no choice, right? Hoorah, hooray. It's gonna leave you with no choice for complacency. You dig what I'm saying? You're gonna be you're gonna get that hyper blast. You're gonna be pushed into a place that you once considered very uncomfortable and you were very fearful of. You dig what I'm saying? But we're gonna see who can swim. So that's the future for the community.
Let me ask you, Lou, in terms of, when we engage in these practices, one thing everybody comes back with is these shapes, sacred geometry shapes. Jehudi just talked about it. When I was on the conscious lean, even when I did shrooms one time, that's one thing I've seen as well. You always see these geometrical shapes, these figures. Some people suggest that just by us looking at sacred geometry or just by us looking at certain platonic solids and doing meditation could change our reality, alter reality. How do you feel about that? Let's say my meditation room is set up and I just got 6 geometrical figures in front of me. A person would say, how the hell is just looking at a shape going to change or help me create my reality? Could you go into that a little bit, Blue?
Well, they call them platonic solids. You know what I'm saying? And they say that everything in the known universe is formed out of these platonic solids, right?
Right.
And then you would have something like the seed of life, or what we call the flower life, that has all of the geometric figures encased within it. So if I am attuning my focus and my frequency to set particular object, right, then I am also attuning because there's geometry in you. Right? There's crystals in you.
In the blood.
There's hex
all
through you.
All through the blood.
All through you. Not only through the blood, through the eardrum, through the bones, through the blood, through the eye. The eye got cones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once again, in the lecture, I showed how the brother Sylvester Gates said at the very base, most subatomic level of you, that you are tesseract. Right? You're a cube within a cube. Okay? So if we're attuning ourselves to these sacred geometric shapes and figures, then we're also tuning into consciousness, because these sacred geometric figures are consciousness. These sacred geometric figures are frequencies. These sacred geometric figures have alignment with colors and tones. So that's how we are tuning ourselves. We're talking God frequency here. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what happens when we tap into these sacred geometric configurations and we attune ourselves.
So that's like reality before reality, huh? Those shapes.
Reality before reality. You know what I'm saying? It is the all in all, sacred geometry. You feel me? And then we have conformed and configured into this late version, this form of it, right? Because arm, leg, arm, head, that's sacred geometry. I am a testament to sacred geometry, right? Because all of this is golden means. What do you mean? You dig what I'm saying? So everything that you're seeing is an attestament to my mathematical imperfections, right? Looking to perfect itself, right? If you put the whole, like how they, when they used to put the golden means on the face of, the statues in Kemet, and they found that everything was so mathematically perfect. And even in model agencies, the way that you get your top contracts, because they put the symmetrics, they put the grid on your face to see how you line up for your geometry, right? Everything is geometry. Geometry is music. You feel me? Geometry is the music of the spheres. That's why the highest degree in liberal arts, or the 7 steps of masonry, is astronomy. It's the music of the spheres. You dig what I'm saying? That's all geometry. You were all geometry. When I'm seeing that fatty, that's geometry, right? I don't get activated by flat earth. Sorry. We need curvature.
You need curvature. Yo, that's sacred geometry.
That's sacred geometry.
That's
Make the world go round. That's flat.
Nah, that's facts. Cause we look at it, we be like, yo, how is she built like that? We be like, yo. Mama. Yo, man, wonderful conversation, man. Could you tell us what was your experience like? You know, I want to, you know, I appreciate your personal stories. It seems to resonate with people a lot when you tell these personal stories. Your experience with the indigenous people when you, indigenous brothers and sisters when you was in the TP and I think you did the sweat thing. What was that like? Did it change? Did it take some of the American out of you?
It definitely did.
Okay, explain that to me.
I'll take us back to my first TP experience. It was in December of I want to say 2016. You know, I might be off a year or what have you, but I think it was 2016. Whatever year the African about itself, you Google it. It was our first trip to Mount Shasta for the Mount Shasta retreat. We went in December in the winter. Okay, and Northern California is not like Southern California, so it was cold in Northern California. It's brisk up there, and in the daytime, you know, we was all there. It was 36 or 37 of us in total, right? So people that came on the retreat, and plus the indigenous elders that came up to administer the rites, right? It was a peyote ceremony. And the Lakota tribe, the indigenous elders from the Lakota tribe belong to a church, okay, that can administer peyote rites, because what happened, the Catholic Church came in and they locked down all of the indigenous ceremonies utilizing sacred plants. Why did they do that? Right? And the only way that they would allow them to utilize their customs with the sacred plants, they had to go through the confines of their church. And what the indigenous ancestors was telling me is that, or indigenous elders for that matter, they were saying that a lot of their people didn't make it out of the church. So they was going through their, you know what I mean, cloak and dagger. Like, look, we just going to go up in here to get the certification and come out here and do our stuff. They said a lot of them didn't make it out. They came out Christianized, right? So let's be clear, that spell is powerful. You dig what I'm saying? But for the ones that did not get bit by that bug and was true form, they were up there on that mountain with us administering these particular rites and these ceremonies. So when some of the younger indigenous family had came through, you know, they are our age, so they raised off hip hop. So I don't think, because they live on reservations, I don't think they had a lot of interaction and interface with what we would call, you know what I'm saying, so-called black people. So they see me and they's like, oh, you look like Snoop Dogg. And I'm like, son, I don't look like Snoop Dogg. You feel me? But if that's the only cultural reference that you have, I understand your limited perception, and I'm not going to hold it against you, right? I ain't say all that. I was just like, I'm not going to allow that to get me in my feelings. I came here to do something to get it done. And, you know, my man was like, son, don't make it on the mind. Like, you know, this is just how they look at us. They don't know us. So there was a level of, they're not going to be able to hang with this. What do they know about these ceremonies, right? There was a level of resignation amongst the Lakota dealing with so-called black people to say they're not going to be able to, they don't have the discipline to deal with this that we're about to go through. So we had to sit in the TP from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., right? Sitting in the TP Indian style, okay? And it was about 30 degrees outside. So don't matter all of how you tack the TP down, the TP still got openings and the air's still drifting through there. And you got to handle all of that riding up your back spine, you know what I'm saying, while you are sitting there and people are going through their purging period, because now the peyote is being administered around a circle of which there's 2 rings now because there's so many people in there. And this is where people are now getting to know each other for the first time. You understand? And it was very intense. You know what I'm saying? It was very intense. And the difference with that was that I saw that I'm like, yo, they're doing all of this to put prayers up. You dig what I'm saying? They're doing all of this to put prayers up. And they're sacrificing, right? And the pain in their body is a testament to their sacrifice. Whereas when we go to church, we hollering and hooting and somebody catch the ghost and niggas want to get up out of there. They like, yo, she got possessed. right? It's not really celebratory. It's like, oh, it's time to go. You feel me? We run downstairs, we get something to eat, and we up out of there, right? We could jump back into our nigga garb and back to our nigga things. So where's the sacrifice? Where are you really sacrificing to get the attention of the Lord, first of all, to be like, yo, I'm worthy of your attention, let alone your blessings. So we were sitting and we had multiple prayers that we were sending up. This was the weekend that Standing Rock was supposed to happen. So the elders in the TP from Lakota, their children had went to die at Standing Rock, and they weren't with them. So they were heavy-hearted, and they were lamenting at the fact that their children were about to go back home to their motherfucking ancestors, right? Talk about sacrifice. Whereas we're sitting there setting up prayers for our children that were dying in the street, right? And then the people that were personally there for healing were there dealing with their personal shit about the people who have afflicted them in their lives, more than likely direct relatives, okay? Who are going to be amongst the flock of ancestors where, you know, they're getting backhanded like this. You dig what I'm saying? So it's about to be hell up in Harlem, okay? Or like a bull in a room full of china. You dig what I'm saying? So they have the ceremony. They put the tobacco in the corn husk. They wrap it a particular way. They pass it around. You got to blow in it. You got to send your prayers up. You feel me? We started seeing the light shows started lighting up, right? Them light ships, right? These troops the niggas keep running from, they started showing up. You dig what I'm saying? Then the sky broke, and then the water condensing started coming down, and the Indigenous played drums from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. nonstop. They sang songs from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. nonstop. You dig what I'm saying? And you're not allowed to lay down or fall out or none of that. You dig what I'm saying?
12 hours, wow.
Discipline. And then when day broke, the women got up and the women left, right? So just like ceremonial lodge ceremonies, like people knock masons and stuff of that nature, right? But yet you go to church and the women is mixed with the men, and all you got is funniness and fornication and priests touching boys and this, that, and the other. So there's never a understanding of why there's a separation, why you keep the women on this side. Shout out to the Nation of Islam, though. They do separate the women. You keep the women on this side, or the women were supposed to go out first, prepare the food, and come back in. Like, it was just all... It was ceremonial, and I understood the fluctuation of the energy. I understood how people represented these particular energetic frequencies based on feminine and masculine, because it's not necessarily gender per se, but the personification of it in gender roles is what we understand, right? But it's energy. So they came back in. We ate after they fed us some of the food in the ceremony, and then everybody had to come out one by one. You feel me? And then we went in the house and the food was prepared. That's why the women had left first, because they went to prepare the food. You understand what I'm saying? And then the ceremony closed. And then the day after that, they shut down Standing Rock, right? So we was led to believe that whatever level of sacrifice that we put forward in that indigenous sitting and prayer, it worked because the ancestors answered it. So we was Gucci from that point on. You know what I'm saying? For every other ceremony that we came to, we gained the respect of those indigenous elders that were part of that tribe who have never seen, quote unquote, so-called black people sit or take medicine, what they call it. You feel me? So we had to gain their respect, right? You have to earn your rights in this particular land. You can't just be showing up talking about just because you got nappy-headed dreads in your head, you indigenous to the goddamn land. Like, what are your rights in your ceremonies? How are you putting it down? Do the earth recognize you? Huh? Do the stars move at your beck and call, nigga? Huh? You cosmic? Nah, so stop playing. There's a lot of people playing with this information. And it's not a play thing. You know what I mean? The universe beckons more of you. Your ancestors beckon more of you. Right? They need you to tap in. Whatever you call yourself, whatever you from, if you Christian or Muslim, you need to, you know, become just a little bit more serious about that particular thing and look into them books. Go back into them books and tie yourself into what time is it, right? If you Pan-African, if you Ifa, if you Lukumi, if you this, if you that, yo, everybody ancestors is knocking on the door right now. Everybody's getting ready to get. They all willing to get busy. Look, these are some trying times. You sitting up there with your thumb in your ass, thinking that Trump is just gonna miraculously, you know, come to his senses and stop this bleeding of the people, as if that's not what they put him in there for. As if not, he is not there to bankrupt this particular ship and sink it. You think not? You getting rocked to sleep. Sitting there thinking that, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're waiting on this president to gain a conscience that it's going to happen. Did you see Vice, the movie about Dick Cheney? Huh? They telling you what these presidents is all about. They telling you how they joke. They telling you how they, you know, steal trillions out of this month and leave it, and have you leave it holding the bag. They showing you that they will turn a nation into zombies of dope heads for them to get some fiat. We forget about George W. because of Obama. But now we got Trump and people still sitting around waiting. What you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? People are still surprised that he would invite that young man to the, you know, they're still surprised that he didn't lay a reef at MLK. They're still surprised at this. You still surprised? How? How, Sway? Like, what is it going to take to wake the people up? I don't want to hear about who your ancestors are. You feel me?
I want to take about 2 questions before we get up out of here. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. I haven't been getting a lot of love. As far as Cash App, man, we got about 1,200 people in here. I need some love from the family. As far as Cash App, man, I got Blue Pill here dropping this information.
$ Blue Pillar 44. What's your Cash App?
$ Black Magic 363.
Yeah, man. Show some love.
Show some Cash App love. Please show some Cash App love.
I ain't been on this thing all year. Huh?
Word up, family. Show some Cash App love. I already told you, I really don't mess with the super chat no more, family. I don't mess with that. They take 30%. So you give me 5, I'm getting like $2.75 or something like that. I don't know. But show some Cash App love, family, for Blue Pill and Brother Rich that's on here. With that being said, I'm going to take a few questions. Anybody, if whoever got, the Cash App is $ Black Magic 363. And Blue Pills is $ Blue Pillar 44. And Magic is spelled with a K, not a C. I see somebody put that there. Magic is spelled with a K. Who got questions for Blue Pill?
Let's get them questions,
Give me some questions for Blue Pillar. Give me some questions for Blue Pillar. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Come on, give me some good questions, family. I guess that's not happening, huh? I guess the questions ain't happening. Make sure you support blah, 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 blah. Yeah, lost spiritual rituals. We've been talking about that. I mean, I'm not are there retreats like that on this coast? What you I guess the Mount Shasta or
we got something coming. We'll keep you informed, family.
What's your thoughts on Kamala Harris? We talked about Trump. You got a sister running for president in 2020.
Agent. Distraction
agent.
Coy. Yeah.
Okay.
Decoy.
What type of mushrooms?
You know, I told the family once again. I told them in Alexa this past week. I told them Chris Brown was the next one to get targeted, and I told them what the ticket for 2020 is going to be. I'm not repeating it.
What's your final take on the Wolf Moon that just passed?
What was my take on it?
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was miraculous. We were lecturing while the wolf moon came in. We brought the family outside. Some people bore witness to it the very first time it got hit by a meteorite while we was bearing witness to it. You know what I'm saying? It was just an amazing occurrence, and you're going to feel the residuals of it, you know, for a very long time, because there's 3 supermoons coming right behind it, back to back to back, February and March. They ain't tell you that, did they?
Nah. So many people talking about going back to Ghana. They're talking about, I think they're giving citizenship. Somebody said they're giving citizenship to African Americans.
Yeah, it's tied into the whole 400-year narrative of, let my people free. Yes, so Ghana's talking about dual citizenship. There are a lot of people going back to Ghana. I saw a post Supernova Slum sent me earlier by our brother Michael J. White.
Yeah, he just went over there, right?
He went over there. Who else? There was another celebrity, Diggy Simmons.
Okay.
Diggy Simmons just went over there. And everybody who touches the continent, and I meant to say that too, right? Shout out to the continent. You know what I'm saying? I'm going back this year, and I'm not gonna speak indifferent or expertly or anything about the continent until I get back to the continent, right? I've been quiet for a long time. I had to contemplate a lot of things. Shout out to my brother, Billionaire PA. He just came back from South Africa. Camera shut off again. Right? And any and everybody who I make contact with, minus a few people, you know, are telling me miraculous stories about their experiences on the continent. Shout out to Adika Butler. I seen him go to Benin, I believe it was. You feel me? So, yeah, you know, the move to Ghana. Shout out to Nova Felder, you know what I'm saying, who wants to, we're talking about planning a trip to Ghana later this year. Shout out to Steve Coakley Jr. I spoke to him last night. He just came back from Ghana. He has a lot of pertinent information that he shared with me. So I'm getting a lot of intel, a lot of feedback about some miraculous things that Ghana has to provide the family, you know. And I'm sure at some point we could get him on this program, because I already know what the fear tactics is. I already know what script you running in the back of your mind. I already know what story you going to bring up for me about the people that got killed and why you shouldn't be in God. I already know all of that, right? 2 steps ahead of you. So we you know, we got to build to get that, you know, move that obstruction, you know what I'm saying? Move that mental roadblock out of the way so we can clear the path and we can show you what it looks like to get back into these indigenous regions. I plan on going to Tucson, Arizona in early February to the Rock and Mineral Show, right? If y'all want to holler, y'all need to inbox me about that. Get at me on Instagram at BluePillar44. They have an entire village called African Village where you go and meet the miners. You go and meet the people who are sourcing minerals from the continent, because China is the biggest mover in the mineral game, but they're getting all their stones from Brazil and they're getting them from the continent. So if you get in with a miner, if you get in with a trader at the base level, this is the new currency, y'all. They have a commodity market for minerals alone. I ain't even talking diamonds. I'm just talking mineral, tanzanite, aquamarine, you know, rubies, you name it. It doesn't depreciate in value. This is an entire market. I don't know what niggas be talking about, bruh. You feel me? I don't know what you designate or identify as the bag. But this is what global trade is taking place, right? So I want to go there. I want to speak to the indigenous, you know, the people from the continent that have access in real time to real resources, right? The brother said what? He said China is coming there with $1 million in cash, going to the gold mines, talking about give me everything that comes out of the ground. You can't even get a morsel. You are not in the game at all. I know what you niggas talking about when you be talking about the bag. You feel me? I don't know what niggas is doing sitting all this collateral debt. and not moving it around in this global market. Everybody else is playing the game to win, right? So you can stop telling me that it's not a curse. The niggas don't got a curse on them. Huh? For real? What you call that? Huh? What you call that? Having a dream and no dollar, or a dollar with no dream? What's worse? The lotto was $144 million tonight, by the way.
Last question from the chat room, Blue. Your tips on astral projection. That could be a scary thing for a lot of people.
SoulGoldBiz.com. SoulGoldBiz.com. Get yourself the monatomic goal. You dig what I'm saying? My dude been with me. We've been running into scientists. What all the scientists that we been running and talk about? That goal. They all talking about that goal. They talking about that goal all around the world right now. You feel me? They all and that's where my brother Jehudi, that's what he seen in his journey. That's what Ty seen in his journey. He seen the golden bees. Right? Gold bees.
Yeah.
He seen ethereal bees. The ethereal bees was around his head. You feel me? And of course the goal was in the sun. You dig what I'm saying? But like I said, the sun turns into that black sun. And when you study it, because I'm sun gazing, I'm looking through it, right? I'm on the other side of it. You dig what I'm saying? So there's levels to this goal. There's level to this astral projection. You know what I mean? But I say goal specifically because it aids and assists in lucid dreaming. You know what I mean? You should be setting an intent before you go into these particular journeys, you know? And be mindful. Do not eat at night. You know what I mean? And do not eat heavy at night before you go under, because you're going to be pretty much experiencing all of the chemical releases, you know, all of the melatonin fighting with all that other stuff that's going on inside of you that, you know, your system is trying to break up, but it can't. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have an impossible burger journey. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself.
Good question. I see in the chat room. I was going to end it there. Somebody asked, hold up, where is it at? What is the correlation between graffiti and sacred geometry? Good question. We somehow managed to tap into this shit. People that don't know where the hell they come from somehow tapped into this shit.
As a youth, right? Again, shout out Shout out to Black Dot, Master Dakota, you know what I'm saying? The Matrix of hip hop, you feel me? He told it better than anybody else that I've heard tell it in a long time. But I'm going to speak about my personal experiences as a youth right here in the borough. Well, I was born in the Bronx, so I can speak directly to my Bronx experiences, you know, but I was more cognizant of it when I lived in Brooklyn because I was a little bit older and I could appreciate the symmetry of art. You dig what I'm saying? So coming, you know, going with my father to his job, you know what I'm saying? Going wherever I had to go, I was looking forward to it because I was getting on the train and you're going to see new pieces on the train. I understand the level of creativity was taking place under the stress, duress, right? And threat of arrest. The stress, duress, and threat of arrest, right? So the brothers were coming from pressurized environments where the meals wasn't there, mama was on crack, right? The duress, you understand? You're there at night. You're on an angle. Sometimes you upside down. The threat of arrest is always present. Police is in the yards. They're letting the dogs go, right? Or you might get electrified or what have you. You dig what I'm saying? Under all of those conditions, our brothers is able to create symmetrically perfect, right?
Talk to him.
Chromatomatic. Free-handed. They're not looking at their burner books, right? They don't have rulers to check the symmetry of their pieces. How are you doing this in the dark and the yellow blends with the orange, blends with the blue? And then you got that drip. You got that drip. You understand? Like, how are our people able to express in color oppression which was so ugly.
Whew.
But then be able to create something so beautiful, right? So it's that beautiful struggle, right? It's the shit that what I said in that song, Beautiful Art. We make beautiful art out of horror scenes. You dig what I'm saying? And that's what graffiti was. It was beautiful art made out of horror scenes. And the symmetry on it had to be perfect for it to resonate and capture, right, your iris and download in your memory to remind you of a place where you came from, where automatically, what did you do? You started going into... Right? You start going into your poses automatically.
Automatically, right? Bro.
This is for Brigham yoga, nigga.
Shit is, yeah, right? Yo.
Come on now.
Straight DNA, bro.
Put some respect on our people, man. Put some respect on them. Right? In the belly of the beast.
What they call that, a gift? That's a gift, what that movie just did. I gotta find a way to make that into a gift. Yo, you gonna be all over the internet. Yo, I'm gonna make that into a gift. Yo, somebody
they know how to do it.
Any of these y'all tech wizards out there, man, figure out how to make that into a gift, please, and send it to me, man. Cause that was gonna go around forever. Blue pill dancing like that. Dude, he tutting and shit, man. Oh, man. Yo, Blue, listen. I just got this idea. I want us to end the show. Awesome show. I want to thank everybody. About 1,100 people in the chat. I
don't hear no pings on my Cash App either.
I'm telling you, man.
These niggas is something else.
For some
all of y'all federal workers, y'all better cut it out.
Furlough.
I know all of y'all ain't federal workers. Furloughing.
Shit, man. This shit crazy.
Come on,
Cash App, $Blue.
All right, shout out to the. Okay. I see y'all coming through. My bad. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Owen Pope. Shout out to Courtney Davis. Shout out to Donisha. Shout out to Gianni Cobb. Salute. All right, and you will be joined by hundreds of thousands more. Right on.
Yo, Blue, can we end this show? I don't know if you remember it. You should remember it. Could you end with your poem, the "Life is Beautiful Like Ciasia," with the beat, that remember that? Could you end with that? Could you end? Could you spit that? I'm putting you on the spot. Could you spit that for the people, man? Since we talking about galaxies and dimensions and you ain't. Could you end with that, my brother? Could you give us that energy? Could you give us that vibe, brother? Do you remember that joint?
I'm telling you, off the top, you ain't getting it off the top.
Oh man, nah, okay, it's all good. That's why I said I don't know if you remember. That was years ago. That was probably like 3-4 years ago. But damn, that would have been beautiful to end with that, man. That would have been let me see something, family. I don't have it on my computer right now. This laptop.
You don't got it on there?
Not on this laptop. I got it on the desktop over there. I don't have it on this laptop.
Put it on.
Yeah, nah, it's gonna be too much of a hassle with that. I got my keyboard's dead and all that. It's too much of a hassle right now to plug that.
You got another question in?
Let's let me just make sure I don't have this in iTunes real quick. No, I don't. Why my son crying upstairs? What's going on? What's the one more question, family? One more question, family. Give Blue Pill a question. Let me see if I can scroll up and see if I. I'm gonna make the gift for you, Brother Rich. MD 2020 TV. Yo, listen, when you make it, please send it to richardmerritt@yahoo.com. RICHINMERIT at yahoo.com. Please send it. That's gonna be the funniest.
BCC me in it too.
That's going. That's
Pillar
gonna
44 Gmail.
that's gonna be the fun. We gonna make that happen this year. That's gonna be around this year. Oh, our gang signs mudras. All that stacking niggas do. That's a science within itself.
That's very deep. Once again, in the lecture, if you caught the lecture, right? Blood Moon Logs 2020, the Law 44 presents Blood Moon Logs 2020. We spoke about the broca areas region of the brain, which is the 44 region of the brain, and brain and gematria is also 44, right? But the 44th area, broca regions area 44, is responsible for music perception, is responsible for dictation, like how you form words and speak, grammar, and all of that stuff. And it's also responsible for hand movements, right? So that's even governed by the law of 44. And I wholeheartedly believe, because, you know, everything symmetric carries a frequency and a resonance with it. You know, even if we can't see it, right? Our subtle bodies, our energy bodies are still configuring themselves when we're stacking. So I absolutely believed it. And also, you know, I found out about all of these different meridians that we have in our hands. So if the family is utilizing mudras and hand signs to make particular points, then they are connecting meridians. And those meridians themselves, yes, are creating energy vectors. So whether these mudras are mudras that are indicative of mudras that we once practiced in our Indus Kush incarnation, or brand new ones, is definitely mudras.
It's crazy how we just tap into this, man. Like, we weren't taught it from a system. We just figured out how to tap into this shit. This, you know, it's from the graffiti to like the, you know, the gang signs, all of that.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing.
I mean,
and that alludes to the first question I had. We think with the Hebrew, the black Israelites, with this, with that, we gotta be that we gotta be the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? To have this DNA, we the Egyptians. There's something in our DNA. There's something in our DNA that somebody ain't telling us.
That's I was about to get to that. You know what I'm saying? This whole aspect of the Genome Project. You know what I mean? And when you start researching what their research is. And I'm gonna bring some of this information forward. I've been in school, y'all. You know what I mean? I fell back and I went back to school. You know, student enrollment. I was back in school, and I learned some amazing information about our DNA and the information that's out there right now. We got to revisit that whole Jane Elliott conversation. I got bars beyond bars for that. You know what I mean? She was right and wrong. I just want to qualify that conversation and just get a little bit more scientific at some point. But our DNA is amazing. DNA is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I'm speaking not necessarily facetiously by utilizing these topics to speak about our ancestry and, you know, who do you pay homage to? You know, your direct descendants, the ones from 2, 3, 4, 5 centuries ago, or the ones from 500 years ago. You know what I mean? In life, I think, is about a beautiful balance and blend of the two. You know what I mean? Because, you know, our ancient DNA, our ancient ancestry has came up and spoken through us. But it's digital now. It's not analog. So even our expression nowadays, we're in a new place and a new time. So even though we could say it's ancient and antiquated, it's a new thing. We have never danced to the tune of a mechanical drummer's beat. This is totally new. So even the way that that's recalibrating our DNA is making us an entirely new species, an entirely new people, right? Because we have never, and this, like I said, got to get me in for a segment for the guard frequency. I went back to school. You know what I'm saying? The way that these mechanical drums are recalibrating our DNA, right? And our DNA is creating different tones and is setting off different frequencies in this universe. You know what I mean? This is a new place that we've never been in, but it's definitely a testament to who and what we have been and always will be. You dig what I'm saying? So, you know, not just the graffiti, you know what I mean, but the breakdancing, you know what I'm saying? Not just the breakdancing, but the oral tradition of MCing. Not just the MCing, but, you know, the DJing, you know what I'm saying? The spinning of the vinyls, the wax, you know what I mean? The way that you centrifugally, you know, make the music of the spears. This is masonry. This is geometry. This is the all. This is the top of it all. And again, shout out to Black Dot. Right? Matrix of Hip Hop. Go buy that book. I understand that he has it on sale right now. Urban X. Salute to the legends, y'all.
Why don't you leave your contact info so that people can holler? I know you got the Soul Gold Biz. I just took the Soul Gold Biz probably about 4 days ago. Took it about 4 days ago. And it did its thing as usual. So, you know what I'm going to do, Blue?
Give me a commercial.
I notice people with products, they have this, I want to call it the black magic effect, where they come on Black Magic and they sales go through the roof. Uncle Hanky's experiencing that right now. And I gotta give my list. You know how like Oprah had her list of products?
Yeah.
I gotta give my list, the Black Magic list of must-haves in this in the Western. Well, I don't want to say in life right now. The Soul Gold Biz is on the list, definitely. And I'm just talking about things. I took it 2019, so I don't want anybody to take it personal. Products I've taken in the past. I'm gonna put right now. I'm gonna put Blue Pill on the list for Soul Gold Biz. I'm gonna put Uncle Hanky on the list for his entheogens. And as far as the Astrop, thank you, brother. My son just threw up on me, and the brother Jehudi just got me. I got it. He just bought the papers.
You got experience.
And I'm putting Ra Cool on the list.
Shout out to Ra Cool.
Ra Cool gave me a thorough breakdown on my son. Thorough breakdown. So I got Ra Cool, Uncle Hanky, and Blue Pill on the 2019 Black Magic list for must-haves in your life. So I want to give all those black businessmen a shout out. I look forward to adding other people to the list. But
include you all into that, you know.
This is products that resonate with me personally.
Watch your the cup, yeah. Don't knock the computer out. Pick the computer up. It's wet.
Nah, the computer good.
All right. Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, these are products that resonated with me personally, so I'm recommending them to the people. You get that right there, brother. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of help right now. So I'm recommending
it's
it.
The village. That's what it's
I'm recommending it to the people because if it benefited me, I know it could benefit them. So shout out to those three brothers with those products that you won't find in the mainstream. With that being said, you left your email and all that, right, Blue Pill?
SOLEGOLDBIZ.com, SoulGoldBiz.com, Blue Pillar, that's PILLAR44, Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail.
Thank you.
At Blue Pillar 44 on IG. Know the Ledge Media, that's on YouTube as well. Shout out to Red Pill. Shout out to KT the Arts Degree, KTtheArtsDegree.com. Shout out to Mama Pill. Greenleaf-herbs.com. Go get your sea moss. Stop entertaining all these frauds out here. All the CMOS knockoffs, but I can't believe this. All the people with, you know what I'm saying? They got Photoshop pictures next to Sabi's talking about their healers. Cut it out.
Bro, everybody uses Dr. Sabi names in their health products on Instagram.
His name, his pictures.
Yo, bro.
They got him coming through the clouds. Like, I'm seeing it all. Nah, real talk. And this is an entertainer. This is somebody that I'm highly surprised that homie would do. Sabi, like, I got to see him. Like, yo, son, you bugging, son. Like, I hope some proceeds is going back to the family or to the village or something. Y'all niggas is out here living trifling, son. Real fucking talk. I'm sorry for the curse and everything, but jeez. I thought Sunson opened the gates. I thought Sunson was the only one talking about that was his daddy. But then everybody jumped in the lane, running with this. Cut it out. Like, show some respect.
If you got a health product on Instagram, you name dropping Sabi. Yo, Sabi approved. Sabi verified.
I don't even do that, B. I don't even do that. I don't even do that. By my own merits, do my products stand by themselves? You dig what I'm saying? How the hell you got the right to be running with Sabi's name in your mouth like that? Y'all disrespectful, B. Real talk, y'all disrespectful.
With that being said, like I said,
and again, talking about ancestors, that's what I'm saying. Like, we talking about niggas here, right? Niggas don't have ancestors. There's nothing ancient about a nigga. Niggas is not antiquated, right? Where do they come from? There's nothing ancient about niggas, okay? This is a new paradigm, right? And this is how niggas do. Total disrespect, right? You gotta silence a nigga. Like, that's the only way you can remove him. It's like moving a tick. You gotta get the head out. It's not just good enough to remove the body, right?
With that being said, family, we're gonna close it out. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna be back in a couple of days with KT. I think KT's next up, so stay tuned. All right, family. Thanks for tuning in. We are Cash App $ Black Magic 363 $ Blue Pillar 44. All right, family. Peace. Thank you to all my patrons out there. I got some new content coming shortly. All right, peace, family.